Smaller countries may find it daunting to compete in global markets, but they have a big advantage. Being very small, they can find niches, they can slip into those niches without attracting new trade barriers. And country after country, including many in Africa in recent years, have been able to start a real process of self-sustained growth by entering global markets. If the APEC countries, in the course of doing the Trans-Pacific Partnership, more broadly, the free trade area of the Asia-Pacific, will grant that kind of access, then some of the least developed countries will get huge benefits. We've done a study quantifying the potential gains from the Trans-Pacific Partnership among the current negotiating partners. The biggest gains by far go to Vietnam because it's the poorest country in the group. And it would get big increase in market access, that would have big payoffs for its own economy, and one can generalize that conclusion, I think, across APEC as a whole.
It's not only a question ability to do things better or on par with your global leaders, whether it's in cost management, innovation, efficiencies, ability to deliver product to the end users, etc. But also it's an ability to look at the industry at large, because if we all run around and start doing things on our own, the industry at large can be destroyed. Such as you can see now, and a good example is the aluminum industry, which is in severe overcapacity. The question is how to think beyond the immediate cycle and plan ahead.
As China reduces its reliance on foreign investments into industries like property, we don't expect a lot of foreign competition. On the contrary, we expect very keen competition among domestic property developers.
Well, Microsoft has always been, from its earliest days, a pretty globalized company. And as a result, we tend to both benefit from and encounter of all the competition that's out there. We're a little older as a company than many of the high-tech companies that are really prominent today. Certainly those that are emerging from a competitive point of view. Because of that, we tend to have some offering in many sectors, whereas other companies tend to compete more or less only in one sector. And as a result, we tend to see all the different forms of competition, whether it's cloud computing or phones, tablets, televisions. They're all emerging. Microsoft is a player in each of them. And there are lots of new companies that are emerging and playing in the region, as well as a lot of the established multinationals that are also playing in the region. So it's never been a more vibrant time in terms of our industry, and we don't expect that to abate anytime soon.
你比如这次金融危机，包括欧债危机，如果我们闭关自守，没有走出去，这个贸易不能和世界结合，我们可能不会出现这个对我们影响这么大。那么既然我们走出去了，那可能就要接受世界的挑战。所以在贸易和经济走出国门的同时，作为国内的这个比较大的商业银行，必须伴随着这个国内企业走出去，也必须走出去。不走出去，可能使我们可能会失去我们的客户，跟不上客户的要求。不走出去呢，也可能会失去我们这个盈利的机会。那你要走出去，你必须办成一个本地的银行，不应该办成海外的建设银行，应该办成呢建设银行的海外行，这才能达到我的目的。
So we have to live in a global market for many years. And the only way to compete in those circumstances is the ability to produce things at a lower cost than other global competitors. And Rusal has the key global competitors are multinationals. Some of them are from emerging markets, such as Chalka. Some of them from emerging markets, such as Rio Tinto, Alcan. And two, ability to invest in new technology that allows the higher efficiency in terms of the power consumptions, in terms of the ability to produce more metal from the same unit of power. So that is not something new, and sooner or later every large company, whether in Russia or abroad, has to live with the idea that it has no choice but to compete internationally.
To be globally competitive is the only thing in this day and age, particularly in America, where we are only 5% of the world's population, 95% of our customers are elsewhere. We've got to be absolutely competitive with everybody. To do that in our case, and I think in most cases for companies, you have to have a global footprint. We have to have a cost basis and a sales basis in Asia, for example. Same in Europe. And we do that today at Caterpillar. We worked for 30 years to balance our costs and our revenues in local currency. So we do not have a big risk of a giant dollar slide or a giant dollar rise. We've worked hard on that. For instance, today, for the most part, everything we make in China stays in China, we sell to Chinese customers. Our revenue base and our cost base is more or less matched. And that's been a great model that we've used everywhere around the world for many decades. It's really paying off for us.
Well, I think the biggest challenge to businesses is being commoditized. And anytime you're not investing in new product or improving your existing products, you're at risk of competing only on price, and that's not a sustainable game to play.
Well, I truly believe there is going to be a resurgence of manufacturing here in the U.S., and it's already happening today. You hear of many companies coming back to the U.S. and having their products manufactured here if they are actually selling it here. Now, if they're selling it in the other countries, it makes perfect sense to manufacture it there. But because of the cost of energy and the cost of commercial buildings, U.S. is really ahead of the curve in that area, so it's no longer competitive to be over in some of the other countries if you're not selling there. You know, I think there was a herd mentality of companies going over seas to have their products produced. I think buyers heard, oh, it's cheaper in China, that's what you need to do. And in a lot of cases it made sense, but not always. And now they're really looking at their true costs. And I've heard as little as 10% cost difference today, which is not enough to go through all the delivery concerns and transportation. So I really believe that it will come back to the United States. Plus our technology, whether it's medical or it's food and beverage, it's things that are important to the health and safety of humans, and it really needs to be made here. And we have the best safety laws, and we have the best property right laws of any country, so it's absolutely critical that some of those things stay in the United States.